Yo, yo.
What up, bro?
What's good, dog?
Cool, I'm about to do balling with the group, bro.
I ain't bet.
Yo, yo.
Yo.
Oh, you already got it up there.
Alright.
Shit.
Alright. Bad week almost over. It was real.
A well-deserved bye week.
Nah, Craig, but you definitely right. I might have tweaked on that shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I think you folded, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's gonna hurt you, man.
it could, but you know, sometimes you gotta break bread. You feel me? Pay homage in different ways.
Hey, keep the bread. Fuck that. Fuck that.
Hell nah, because you did the same thing in the other John.
What?
In King Madden.
I didn't need it, though.
Yeah, I don't need it. It's just, it means something. You feel me?
Yeah, I
He
got
do
it.
mean something, but his snap counting, I don't need that, man. It's a mental thing.
That nigga wasn't about to go on the field. I had fucking Denzel, Newsom, and Grady.
It's a mental thing. We got to fight through that shit. We got to fight through adversity and doing that shit awesome.
Really a veteran now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's smart as shit, man. He just know where to be at.
We big on what's it
Oh,
called?
you trade him after you play the nigga.
we big on player openness, man. Guys still got a little bit of juice in them. We ain't gonna hold them till they die. We gonna let them go out there and give it one last straw. Especially we send their ass over to the AFC. I don't give a fuck. They ain't in the NFC with me.
Shit crazy, man.
Big time players make big time plays and big time moments. We know this.
Shout out to Vaughn Taylor. Since we live. Shout out to my nigga Vaughn.
Oh, we find no, I know this. All right. Episode 12. You talking to me? As you can see, we rocking through the week 13 schedule right now. Guys knocking them things out. Nice little shootout in New York, I see.
Overtime.
Boy, I don't know what the Washington football team, they might be cursed. 42-14 New Orleans. Wow.
Oh, wow.
The offense is crazy, man. You let them niggas get rolling.
Well, I'm big on the players right now, and I want to see what players is doing what right now, man. I don't have a conversation about players, period. Those that are ballers, those that are big time, those that are leading their team to success, those that are on teams that should be successful. The players are successful, but their teams aren't. There's all types of stories we could talk about. The playoff picture is still the same as it's been. Nothing really changed until we advance, which should be shortly. And I want to continue my path through some of these teams and what are they looking like and who they taking into the playoffs right now. You know, you got to run through the playoff system and understand who's ready to make that step, who's ready to take that challenge, who's ready to put big time players in big time situations. It's just that simple. Really, that's what it comes down to. What's up, fellas? AntHits, the franchise guru. I'm back. You already know the crew around me. We know how we do it. I already heard their conversations. Craig hating and shit on a motherfucking On a Gilly
Like I
Lock
ain't
trade and shit
saying,
like
like I ain't
that.
saying
Yeah, he said
Bradbury and
talking and
shit,
shit.
man.
Right?
Hey,
Damn.
he played me with Bradbury, right?
Yeah,
On
he
my
He
played,
life.
got 5 picks on the year. Did I
played the
really
shit
play
out
you?
you. Yeah,
Did I really
motherfucker.
play you? Did I really play
Played
you?
Daniels, man.
Whitehead had 7 picks last year. It ain't no big difference.
You feel me? I'm saying he got 5 picks already on the year. Did I really play you? Sound like he getting involved over there.
Not
Vivian,
really.
thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill.
So it looks like when you look at the top performers right now, man, and you look at the passing leaders, the 3 that's on here are all playoff in the playoff running right now. Kyler Murray, number 1 on this list. Dan Marino Jr. is number 2 on this list, and Justin Herbert is number 3 on this list. All 3 of those quarterbacks are in a battle for their division right now. So shout out to those guys, man. Big time ballers. I'm talking about big time players make big time plays in big time moments. When you get to the Russian leaders, you're looking at Travis Etienne's back on top of that thing. Oh my God, how many carries he get? Oh yeah, computer love. I don't want nobody else. 289. Where's Shogun's at, man? I thought he was. I
He's
seen
on
him
the
in y'all
phone.
chat.
He's on the phone.
2,226 rushing yards, 29 touchdowns. But Ronald Jones still talking about that, man. You can have the yards right now, cuz just ain't getting the touchdowns. Sorry about that. 31 of them things right now. And Michaels, Joey Adaya is sitting up on this list 3rd. All playoff teams in the playoff picture or fighting for a playoff spot, as you can see. So the first 6 players I just talked about are those guys right now. Big time players make big time plays in big time moments. Receiver leaders right now. It's been changing up a little bit. Sheldon Ward steps into the mix right now. 3rd on this list. Jalen Waddle's number 1. Zach Bowman, man. Michael has a receiver with 20 touchdowns. Balling right now. Chris Rump, Victor D, Vic D, and then you got Jeremiah Cumberland, Mr. Cumberland Farms are your sack leaders, 18, 18, and 17 right now. These guys are getting to the quarterback at a high level. I mean, you got 2 defensive ends on there with the 20 sacks this year. What the hell is going on in Arizona, bro? It just doesn't seem like they do anything. Only one position. Only one position on the field for them is a single position, and that's the playoff running back they got, and Tyson Williams. Everybody else is always 2 people doing something. How is the big question. Denzel Ward, 13 picks. Denzel's a baller, bro. I really got to see his talent last night in our game against the Browns. We will be talking about some of these games that was played as well. But Denzel, 13, I don't think he picked me off last night. He might have. I don't think he did, though. But he played really well. Yeah. He's talking shit to Hollywood a lot, though. But young Jello stepped in the place like, hold up, nigga. What we talking about over here? Mr. Clyde Sampson still keep making that case. He has 11 interceptions right now. And Mr. Xavier veteran Howard steps into the 3rd spot with 10. He's right back in the mix again, saying he ain't ready to hand over the crown as the best corner in the league right now. When it comes down to tackles, Johnny Wilson from the Texans to Smoochie Wally and Divine Diablo. Obviously, when guys aren't playing their games, their players make a name. You know what I mean? That's just pretty much how it goes if we really think about it. So let's talk about, we left off with the Chargers and the Bucks, and we talked about those teams, and we talked about, them being in the playoffs and being the number 1 seed, and we talked about team stats as top 5 offenses at all categories, top 5 defenses. We talked about those things, right? And we got into it, and I got off a little faster than I wanted to. Let's get back to these Bucks for a second right now. Let's just look at their production when it comes down to offensively and the weapons that are over here right now. All right. So it starts with Jerry Bradshaw. I don't care what y'all think. I don't care if y'all think he's a running team. Their shit starts with Jerry Bradshaw. I love the guys that have the heart to draft a quarterback and allow him to relax for a season and learn their system before putting him on the field. I respect that. I respect those that, treat this game like it's real life right now. And they give us storylines. They give us things to talk about. Most guys get a rookie of their caliber and they want to put him on the field right away. And those guys are the guys that stop playing by week 8 and 9. You know what I'm talking about? The smart guys do what these guys did. Jerry Bradshaw sat behind Tom Brady. Why wouldn't you sit behind the GOAT of all GOATs? and learn the game, learn the playbook, learn everything that they got to offer over there, and then when it's your turn to go, you're more prepared than most quarterbacks that get thrown into the fire. It's that simple. But their offense, to me now, I'm gonna say something that might be controversial. Because a lot of y'all probably be like, hell, especially Falk. I think he'll say hell no. But I do think their offense. I know Ronald Jones is the 3-time MVP and fighting for a 4th MVP. But I think now, the way this offense is, it's quarterback friendly now, and it's based off the quarterback. Now, last year I had an argument with my co-host on the other show, and the argument was about the playoff game matchup between the Cardinals and the Bucks. And I said Bradshaw is going to be the reason why they win the game. He's going to have to be that guy. And it was, you think anybody can stop Ronald Jones from getting 1 yard, then you crazy. And Bradshaw showed that he can win the ball game. Now, they didn't win that game, but he showed if they had to call on him that they can do that part of their offense. So to me, that tells me now that this team is different. They are legit one of the top passing teams in the league, as one of the best, if not the best running team in the league. They legit have, a legit all-around offense, man. And if you're sitting on this game and you're coaching, you're using the players, GMing, whatever it is you're doing, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and see that you've answered all the questions that guys throw out there at you. You got to be the guy that say if they tell you to keep going right, you can go left. But every once in a while, you can be a guy that have an attitude of I don't give a fuck what y'all niggas saying, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But every once in a while, I gotta feel good to shut a motherfucker up. And I think that's what Jerry Bradshaw brings for this Bucks team. He can shut a motherfucker up. And what happens is that narrative of I ain't stopped the Bucks running game, nothing's done. Well, Bradshaw is the one that's telling them, shut the fuck up. Flat out, shut the fuck up. As good as this kid plays is going to be as good as this team goes. It's just that simple. The better he plays, the better their chances are of taking that next step. The Bucks have been one of the most successful franchises in our league. Period. And the one thing they didn't do is a lot of teams didn't do. We only have 2 teams in the league that can say they held up the big trophy. So they're in the same situation as the rest of the 30 teams in the league right now. But their situation is when you build goals for yourself and your team, obviously to have Super Bowl conversations or aspirations, you should be in a Super Bowl. That's a big time situation to put on your guys, and when you have a football team that's built for that, and that's fine. So their only thing is Super Bowl or bust, and they can take on that role and not really be worried about it. It shouldn't be no panic. It shouldn't be no pressure. It's Super Bowl or bust, but it's not if we don't get to the Super Bowl, it's re-up and try again. It's that simple, right? I think Bradshaw in his second season is ready for that role right now. I mean, you can't ignore guys that are super efficient and do not turn the ball over. I mean, that's the best recipe to have. And then it gets funkier when you got a guy who legitimately is a top 3 rusher in the league. And you could argue the number 1 spot all day long if you wanted to. That's table talk, barbershop talk, whatever you want to do. But what you can't argue is he, in his system, as a passer, is never a situation where he's under 70%. I don't think we've seen a quarterback on his team from Brady to Bradshaw have thrown 20 interceptions in the season. That's a guy that protects the football. 9 sacks. That's a guy that don't allow, pressure to bust pipes. He'll throw the ball away on you at the last second. He is not taking sacks. He is not turning the ball over. Very intelligent quarterback. And then you have all the talent to go along with it. The arm talent, the athleticness at quarterback. He is a 6'6", 232-pound man that has legit running talent as well. Although we don't see it, they don't use it, but he has that ability to escape. and extend plays, which makes this offense that much harder to stop right now. Today, when I talk about teams and I go through individual players, I will be looking for offensive names. We always talk about the Cardinals as the Fast and Furious raid. Um, the Tennessee Titans, we called them the Smash Mount. Exotic Smash Mount football. We call the Saints the Rolling Rowley offense. What would be a good title, a good name for this offense, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense? And as I talk about things, I'll figure it out. I'm good with naming shit, so I'll figure it out. You got a highly efficient team running the ball, throwing the ball. I mean, they could do everything. I will, call it a balanced attack. Say that again.
Complete and elite.
Complete and elite. All right. Well, Mr. Top tier. I mean, anybody that name themselves top tier, you will hear something come out of his mouth like that. Completely an elite.
No, complete and elite. They're a complete team and an elite team.
Right. So again, I like that. Arrogant ass answer. I like it. I like it a lot. Complete and elite. So the complete and elite offense. Simple as that. I roll with that. Definitely rolling with that. So Jerry Bradshaw and the CNC offense, right? Now we know what he can do. Can't be elite and without the trophy. Uh-oh. Is it me or do y'all niggas be really coming at each other a whole lot? It's like the crew really be at each other necks, bro, on the low. Nah, everybody in the crew.
Oh, he hasn't done enough to talk to me yet.
Oh, he can't. See, there's that top tier shit coming out of his mouth right now. How dare you, peasant? How dare you talk to me, peasant?
That's my guy, though.
How dare you even speak in my step in my presence, you peasant? Oh my God! All right, so 259 carries. We know who Ronald Jones is right now. I said that there's no other running back developed over here that will even touch the football over here, but I don't think that kills this guy because it's just the durability of Ronald Jones. I mean, he's very, 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 very durable, bro. He just doesn't, you know what I mean? But let's talk about the runner Ronald Jones is, man. I mean, 58 broken tackles. Let's take a look through the NFL real fast for a second. All right, and let's go and see what we got going on. I want to go to broken tackles right now. All right, and I think this has been this all 3 years. I think he's led the league in broke tackles 3 straight years with 58. And granted, it's guys that got backs with the freight train and the tank on them and all that, but you guys aren't breaking tackles like he is, right? But he is showing he can run in between the tackles, and he does it at a really high level. And then he also has the wiggles to be able to make you miss and do some things, and we've seen a lot of elusive runs from him as well. But the 58 break tackles is really special. I mean, in 3-4 years, we don't really see a lot of fumbles out of him. Like, you got Joey Adai with 5 fumbles on the year right now. You never see a number like that come out of Ronald Jones. So he's durable. He's responsible. He's not going to turn the ball over at the same time too. And that just goes. No, I didn't. I'm actually was ready to swing wag. Come get it. What you making?
Fried chicken.
Oh shit, fried chicken. Oh shit. So what I want to say is you got a offense that takes on a personality of the coach, and when that happens, man, these guys, play how what their coaches are asking them to do. They get out there and do it. But they are a team that doesn't make mistakes. They are a mistake-free team on offense, and rarely get themselves in trouble because of turnovers. So you got a personality of a quarterback who understands not to turn the ball over. The running back understands not to turn the ball over. And, you just continue to go. And what they did was they put themselves in an argument and in the conversation of weapons, okay? Making a trade that they made to go get a Henry Ruggs, that's weapons. That's them understanding, when you're at the off season and you assess yourself at the end of the year, and you think about what stopped you from your ultimate goal, and then you execute after that. So it's you obsess, you execute, and then you pull the trigger. It's that simple, right? Well, Henry Ruggs was part of their assess. The execution part of it was go get him, and then pull the trigger is part of that go get him as well. And then let's make it do what it do, right? So I say that because you develop the tight end. You know what I mean? I mean, the only tight end in the league wearing number 99. You develop the tight end we call 99 reasons, right? And in the development of him, you put yourself in a situation where you got a quarterback that can be conversated in the top 5. You have the best running back in the league. And now you have an argument for the best tight end in the league as well. We all know what Bryce Moss is out there in L.A. But John Jenkins, man, 99 Reasons, Mr. Sapp, or whatever you want to call him, he's that guy, bro. And again, you know, when you got a tight end on the field that is really your offensive weapon. I mean, we're talking about New England Patriots real life football with Gronk, and before Babe Boy that murdered himself. What's that guy's name, man? The one, Aaron Hernandez, right? 2 seconds. All right, I'm back. Throwback football in Tampa Bay. All right, you know I would say the Broncos at times when they had Shannon Sharp. I will also say the Ravens when they had Shannon Sharp. Where you know the Patriots during their Super Bowl runs, it was the Gronk show as your number one passing threat weapon, right? And then you have pieces to go with it that can be dangerous while you're scheming to stop the tight end. And this tight end is special, and it's a few guys in the league that have tight ends on this caliber where they are the passing game. And because of that, you got to put them in that category of, top tight end. So I would ask, is John Jenkins, is 99 Reasons better than Brycey Moss over there? I would ask that question, right? They both use their tight ends in ways where nobody else is doing the things that they do with the tight end numbers. I mean, just look at when it comes down to the receiver stats. Ruggs has 66 catches on the year, but finished John with 52. But John has 21 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So he's their guy. This is their number one target when it comes down to throwing a football. But when I talk about assess, execute, pull the trigger, or access, pull the trigger, execute, however you want, those two hand in hand, in my opinion. The Ruggs situation is showing, all right, we are a safe team. We're not going to throw turnovers. We're not going to fumble the football. We are known as a running team. We have the 3-time MVP in our backfield. He gets all the attention. When it comes down to throwing the ball, for 2 seasons straight, we showing y'all that even though he's my threat, you're not being able to stop him. He's on the likes of a guy like Jalen Waddle, Hollywood Brown, Sheldon Ward. He's on the same level as some of these receivers, right? And when you got a player like that no matter what, he's the guy and you can't stop that shit, is an issue. But when you assess, after a failure or something that you call a failure, and you access and you make sure you build from that, you go get a guy like a Henry Ruggs and you do what you got to do to bring him in your program, and you understood speed kills, and you understood football, and you understood what guys have to do to stop you, the effort they got to put out to stop what I'm already doing. We get a guy like a Henry Ruggs that can run past anybody's defense, and I got a quarterback that has, if not the strongest arm in the league, top 3, top 5 strongest arm quarterback in the league. A guy that comes in with 98 throw power, not a guy that builds up to that. Cannon, so he can make that thing, let that bitch go. And you're going to get one-on-one. You're going to get a lot of man-to-man. You're going to get type of single coverage all over the place. And because you're spending all your resources on the tight end, if you're worrying about the passing game for the Bucs, right? And Ruggs is just capitalizing off of that. I mean, he's doing exactly what they ask him to do. But then my question would be, if Ruggs is their deep threat, some can argue so is Jenkins. I mean, we're looking at a 2-yard differential. 22.4 yards per catch versus 20.7 per catch. I think the better this team gets, And when they figure it completely out, you'll see a guy like Jalen Darden with 1,000 yards as well. When they can get to that, and 3 receivers with 1,000 yards with the MVP in the backfield and a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over, I think this is when they become the most scariest team in the league with that offense, right? I believe that. I think it's one of the most scariest offenses in the league now because of Henry Ruggs comes over and he gives them that third dimension. And because he gives them that third dimension, this team is very hard to stop. If they're hitting on all cylinders, they're damn near impossible to beat. As you can see, undefeated record right now, and they're coming off their bye. Energy, reset, guys got some rest, and they ready to go. Simple as that. All right. And when you look at the weapons over here again, 99 reasons. Can you, if we had 10 people make an argument over the tight ends in this league, if 6 people said 99 reasons was the best tight end in the league, would it be a real argument with that? Like, would that be a real argument where they'd be like, you fucking out your mind, these guys smoking something they ain't supposed to be smoking, thinking like that? Or is it a legitimate argument that this kid could be the best tight end in the league? Now, you cannot not make the case for Bryce Moss at all. You can't. You just can't have a conversation about a tight end without Bryce Moss. But I say the same thing about Jenkins as well. 99 Reasons is just as valuable to the Bucs football team as Bryce Moss. I will say the difference and the reason why I'll give Bryce Moss the #1 nod is because I think if Bryce Moss isn't available to the Chargers, they're not winning the game. Winning most of their games, put it that way. Just because the numbers aren't there. You don't see a really big, strong run game from this team. He is the run game, right? Touchdown-wise, he is the run game, Bryce Moss. And in the passing game, he is the passing game, although Mr. Pierre is playing well. I just think, if the way the success of stopping the Chargers is stopping that tight end. If you stop 99 Reasons, you still got the running back to deal with over there. So I just think, I think Bryce Moss means more to his team than 99 Reasons, even though 99 Reasons is just as important. So I would stand on Bryce Moss as the best tight end in the league, and some arguments best player in the league. But I think 99 Reasons is pretty much 1B when it comes down to that conversation. Now, as your team building yourself into getting into these playoffs, you have to be able to relish the moments, right? And here's what I mean by that: you have to embrace your situations. And if you can't, then you just a guy having fun playing in my league. And if you can't, you're gonna be a guy that complain, bitch about everything but with your own stuff too. I'm gonna ask guys to start looking at themselves in the mirror before they start making some of these comments that they be making after they lose games, or when they playing games, or the excuses that come up. You have to better capitalize off of a storyline. So each team, each coach in this league has a storyline from the time we get out of the off season till we start regular season week 1. Your story starts. The problem is it's your book. You're the narrator, right? You decide what your story is going to be. From the moment you get out of the off season, through that off season into the regular season week 1, you are given a pen, and here, write your story, and you tell your story. Well, some people's stories are told for them if they are looking at the right situations. Good guys, good people that write good books, their vision, their imagination, their creativity, all that stuff comes into one, and you have to put all that together. But you have to see things to better pull out, the most important things to your story, right? So when we get out of the off season, they created a story with the Henry Ruggs trade. They went through the draft a little bit. We're not putting a lot of rookies on the field. This team has been, pretty much built since day one, and managed and maintenance since year 1. So because of that, they are playing with really good pieces all over the place. And then here and there, you come back to the table and a puzzle piece is missing. You got to find out where it goes. So you pick that piece up, plug that piece in, and then you keep it moving. That's via Trent Brown, the trade there. Who else? You come back, get Henry Ruggs, the trade there. Right before that was Eskridge, to figure out if we could use him to be the Henry Ruggs. It's you're always picking up a piece off the floor and putting it back on. And when you have a team that has that capability, is already built, this team brought 22 starters back before we even played a game. When you get into their storyline, and it starts with the winning. You keep winning your division, you keep playing first place schedules. It's that simple. And they're dominating their division. So now, when you come off of that and you go into the Bucs situation, their story starts here. It starts with their schedule, right? I'm not going to talk about every game. I'm just going to talk about the schedule, right? You're looking at up and coming Saints with the roll and rally offense, who we talked about as one of the better offenses in the league that you have to deal with. You beat them, you beat the Super Bowl champs, you beat the roll and rally offense again, you beat a previous Super Bowl winner, the Falcons, in your division. I'll say that's where your weakness is at, the division play. But when you plan tough teams outside of the division, it changes your division play. You can have those 6 games and they could be cakewalks and walk by, whatever you want to call it. But the schedule outside of that division was nuts. You get the Falcons, and that's in week 5. So you play 2 previous Super Bowl winners. You play an explosive offense with the Saints. All right, then you get to the Falcons. All right, you get away from that division game. Then you got the playoff Cowboys, who played in the playoffs. And as you're playing these games, you start to realize the schedule is brutal. Then you get the number 2 team in the league right now, the Chargers. Then at one point you had the undefeated Giants in this game. Then you got the Broncos. So you come off of 4 back-to-back playoff games. Cowboys, Chargers, Giants, Broncos. Then you got the Panthers, who's up and coming in your division. And division games can get tricky at times. The Chiefs was a playoff team. Eagles always got their name in a hat to be either a playoff team or right outside of the playoffs. You come off your bye week, a well-needed rested bye week. So again, you hear how the story's building. The first thing you talk about is the tough schedule that this team has all the way up into their bye week. They play more playoff teams than I think anybody else has played in the first 13 games, or 12 games, right? Now you come off the bye week. Football team has been a playoff team. You got the Falcons, Ravens, Panthers, Raiders to end your season. And the problem is your story was built. The moment you finish 12-0 through that vigorous schedule, you come off the bye week and it comes back to the conversation of last night. Finish. How do we finish? Well, you got the football team who's trying to prove they can finish. That's a game of interest right there. The Falcons have a situation, in my opinion, this can be a trap game. Do I think they'll lose it? No. But this is a trap game because, right, who's behind that Falcons game? The Baltimore Ravens. So when you plan these 2 teams in front of it, is your focus on the Ravens? Sometimes coaches that don't respect the teams they're playing, while they're practicing for the football team, they threw 3 plays in for the Ravens. While they're practicing for the Falcons, they threw 3 new defensive setups in for the Ravens. So that makes the football team and the Falcons trap games because you don't have your team completely focused on those games. You're not worried about that game. Your biggest game, and why the Ravens game is the biggest game for this coach, is because if he can get through that football team in the Falcon trap game and beat the Ravens, he makes the Miami Dolphins 72 team keep their bottle of champagne court until we get through the playoffs. So that's a feat and all, to finish undefeated on a year. And you can't tell me a team that's sitting at 12-0 right now is not worrying about if they finish undefeated or not right now. You can spin all the political conversations you want. Nah, we don't care about that, man. We just want to win a Super Bowl. That's all we want to do is win in the playoffs. We don't care about that. Ain't no team 12-0, and they're right there to finish their regular season undefeated. It's not trying to go for that, right? So that's pressure. That's story. If you finish undefeated, the story goes in your favor. If you don't finish undefeated, then we reset and we have to rip out a page or 2 and rewrite the story. Simple as that. All right, and that's just the regular season. So this team is in a situation where they play one of the toughest schedules of this year, and they're having one of the best seasons in our league history. Period. Especially this league. So the Bucks are in a situation where pressure is there right now, and that pressure is, how do you finish your story? Well, to go to the next chapter, because right now we're on chapter 3 right now, right? So now they're gonna come off that bye and they in chapter 3. Football team is part of chapter 3. Falcons is part of chapter 3. Ravens is part of chapter 3. Panthers and the Raiders are a part of chapter 3, right? And then when you get out of that, and once you come out of that, it's going to tell the story of chapter 4, and that's the off season, the postseason. Gotta put a price tag on them Bucks. I already did. Somebody you want to put price tags on their head right now, man. All right, so that's conversation. Now, when we talk about big time players making big time plays and big time moments, I'm gonna take you into Duval County, and we're gonna talk about those Jacksonville Jaguars. And just follow me, because today I want to talk about players. Big time players make big time situations. All right, Trevor Lawrence. Let me ask y'all this. Max, hope you still on listening. Craig, how do you feel about the #1 overall pick in 2021, Trevor Lawrence?
I think it's
Craig first.
I'm not impressed, to be honest with you. At least if you do run as much as he does, which is very successful, I would like the turnovers to be down.
20 touchdowns to 25 INTs. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's all.
I mean, is Trevor Lawrence success or not success due to the coach or the player?
Well, I don't know, because I've seen him make some amazing ass throws, man, and he can use his legs as well. So I don't know. That's a touchy question right there. I don't think the coach has really been focused to well round his team all the way. I think he found out that his running works, and he's sticking with it. You know what I mean? But I've seen him in games where when he gets over a 2-score lead put on him, struggle to get back into the game if he has to pass. In the games that I've watched, at least.
Okay, Max.
I feel like this coach kind of just took Trevor up here and kind of just took what was given to him and didn't want to make quarterback a priority in the first 4 seasons. I definitely think this is an underachievement for Trevor Lawrence. Knowing the type of thrower that he came out of college, it's due to his system. Some that they have a heavy faith and heavy reliance on ETN, and he doesn't disappoint. But like Craig said, with all that effective running, I definitely would like to see less turnovers. That's really my only complaint, because he produced his wins and playoffs appearances, so to speak, and even a playoff win himself. But
last question: if
Trevor, I don't
ETN struggles, can Trevor Lawrence win them a ball game?
I don't think so.
Not a playoff game, maybe a regular season game.
Yeah.
Is that due to because of the player or scheme?
Scheme, definitely scheme.
I think Trevor's he's not all the way complete exactly. I don't know overall, but I think scheme. I think Trevor has untapped potential just due to his offense.
All right. I asked that because this team took the next step last year. They went to the divisional round. However, when they got to the divisional round, it wasn't a good score, and I don't know if it was because ETN didn't eat or what, but we want to know if Trevor Lawrence can carry this team. Is he a quarterback that could take this team further, or are they capped out right now? Or they, divisional round, and that's it. Can they go further? For them to go further, we all in agreement that Trevor Lawrence has to be able to play better football.
Yeah.
All right.
I believe so.
We're having a situation this year where Travis Etienne has been in the mix as a running back, and some would say he's been ignored in the earlier seasons. as a good running back. And when we talked about top five, for whatever reason, at first he wasn't even considered that at all. And I would say the coach would say, I don't know how, because every year he's been that guy, putting up numbers with the best of them. But this year he's a little different. This year, I think not only are we noticing the numbers this year, I think he's won some big games that make you notice it even more. And because of that, and we're saying, wait, Trevor Lawrence isn't the reason why he won these big games. We know Travis Etienne is the reason why he won in the big games. What did that say to the same scheme that we need Trevor Lawrence to play better in? That same scheme, when everybody knows he's going to run the ball, is not being stopped at all. I mean, only three teams have showed any signs of controlling it a little bit. I'm not even going to say stopping it or shutting it down, but three losses came because they were able to contain that, and maybe Lawrence had to be the guy to win the game, and he couldn't. Travis Etienne, we've seen running backs have seasons, but this is a big season for him, more than just what we're looking at in numbers. I think he's really beat some big time teams this year, and because of that, we have to be looking at Travis Etienne a little different right now. Um, how far or how long can they get away with this guy winning them and getting them into the playoffs? They took the next step, like I said last year, but can they? Are they capped out? Have we seen the best football out of these guys? Can they get themselves out of the fourth seed? Can they move forward with this guy being their guy?
That's.
I don't know. That
I
plays a
think you
lot
gotta
of
have a complete
factors.
team.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
gotta have a
defense
complete
included,
team in
not
this
even
in
just
this
offense.
league. Yeah, no, you got to.
'Cause I don't even want to just keep it simplified to offense, because like the next level is offensively putting up points, yes, but being able to lock in defensively, to being able to utilize your best player, like Craig said. You know what I'm saying? You down 10, down 14, down 2 possessions. You can still lean on Travis, but at some point you've got to have like a different, not a different identity, you know what I'm saying, but balance. And you know what I'm saying, you either got to have yourself in a defensive situation to not push yourself outside of your offensive like comfort, or you have to be able to respond when your offense gets put in the situation. So I think that's a team thing. So it'll be, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, because it's not only just when you're down points. When you run, not saying you're gonna stop ETN, but when you stop them on
No,
first and second
nobody
down,
said that. Nobody said anything
exactly,
about stopping ETN.
exactly. So when you get the first or second, I mean, you get the 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10. What's the situation where you down to half the pass, or you get a tackle for loss, and it's 3rd and 11? Can you put together them passes, and can you keep drives going with the pass? And that's really another thing that just comes with it. You know what I mean? But if
I
ETN's
think
going
the
on
potential
offense,
of passing is there. I mean, I know week two when we played him, he threw the ball really well against me along with running, but the throwing wasn't enough. If Travis didn't do what he did, you don't win the ball game at all, even with the success he had throwing the ball. I just think it got to go hand in hand. I think you can give him 30 carries and run him until he get on fire, and then keep running him. You could do that, but he doesn't just do that though. He throws the ball to him out the backfield. I mean, it's a little bit more than just handing the ball off to Travis and just letting him be
No,
great.
definitely not just saying it's just running, but
nah,
even
nah.
short passes are still long runs.
Hmm.
So it's like, it, if somebody's keened in on Travis completely, not just handoffs, on Travis completely, can we bubble from that to keep people honest? It's always about keeping the game honest. You know what I'm saying? So
But if you look at Travis's numbers over his career, right? 28 touchdowns as a rookie, but he's been a 2,000 yard back every year. Now his numbers are better than they ever been now, right? And he's not even nowhere near the carries right now. Obviously, the average yards per carry is up. That's why the carry attempts are down. 341, 331, 327 at 289. He'll finish the season with 300 carries. Don't know if he'll get to that 340 or 30 or anything like that, but he'll finish the season with 300 carries. But the average is 7.7. Everything went up. Yards per game, yards per carry, touchdowns, yards, period. Went up. Attempts went down. Why is Travis Etienne's season this season is more special than he's been consistently a 2,000 yard back for the most part, double digit touchdowns. What makes it special this year? Because he's doing something very special this year.
Mm,
Mm,
I think he's just becoming into that superstar X factor that he always was, and I think that he's just going off. He's finally getting attention that he feel like he deserves, and he's relishing in that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like winning turned into a divisional game, turned into a big season, beating big name teams, and he's finally got his moment to be seen. And I don't think he's wasting it. He's just developing more and more, and really making a big name for himself.
Yes, sir. I like that answer. Completely answer. Now, when we look at the Jaguars, we know right now they're the fourth seed in the playoffs right now. We're looking at a quarterback who's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns, but he's 63%. 224.5 yards a game right now, 83.4 QB rating. Um, Again, we know what Travis does. And then we look at the receivers right now, and we see Ingram, the tight end. I don't know if this was all his numbers or did he come from you, like at some point when y'all made this trade not too long ago, right?
basically, nah, wow. But Ingram wasn't. He didn't have any stats for him. That's
So
basically
this is
all
all
him.
him. All right, so and we know he's pretty solid with a tight end right now. But so you got a Diggs over here, you got Ingram, and you look at the receiving core. He made big moves and went and got speedster Dwayne Eskridge. We're looking at some good receivers over here. The weapons around Travis is pretty solid. The protection around Travis is top notch. They have the recipe offensively to be a successful offense. And I think their offense is better than it has been in the previous 3 seasons. And I say this because I think the offense is overall better than it has been. And they took that step last year. With a better offense this year, can they go from divisional round to maybe playing an AFC championship?
No,
Or are they ready?
I feel
no,
like
man.
they definitely they got to be
Mm,
ready almost like I don't, you know what I'm saying, like
um,
last year a playoff win, this year like push the boundary, get 2 playoff wins. You know what I'm saying? You brought most of the defense back. You added some offensive pieces. I
we
don't
go
see
we
why.
go back to story. Remember when you tell your own story? Well, the story of the Jaguars are all right. We're coming off of winning a playoff game for the first time. Confidence is at an all-time high. Then they knock off a few big teams in the process of starting to restart the next season. Their story's starting to be built. We've shown we can beat some of these teams that we will have to face in the playoffs to get over that hump in the playoffs. Is the story being written right now? You know what I'm saying? Like he's on that
Exactly.
storyline. That storyline
you
is
you
being
you
told.
you can't say that it's not possible because like you said if the playoffs ended today and he won his first divisional round, he would be playing the Broncos or the Ravens, who he has beaten.
All right.
So it's not impossible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he can do it. Do I know if he? In fact, do I think if he can do it in the playoffs against them two teams? I'm not sure, but I mean, you can't say he can't do it because he's beating them.
The one thing that I think goes unnoticed, wins come with a offense that could put drives together and a defense that could stop drives. The one thing they did through trades is put a fucking football team together.
The defense is sick.
Their defense is loaded. They got top players in trades. They got top players that they built. I mean, they're doing it through both draft and trades right now, and their defense is really good right now, like really good. They have pass rushers. They have linebackers that can make plays for them, and their secondary is after the trades they made is unmatched. Really, they got one of the better secondaries in the league right now. We got a lot of guys that got good secondary. This is one of them. When you get into the playoffs, your success comes from how good your defense plays. We all know you have to have a strong running game. The Cardinals proved that in their last 2 Super Bowl wins. That's those playoff runs was all the run game was strong. It wasn't about the Kyler Murray and the almost 8,000 yards passing and 100 touchdowns, and all your receivers with 2,000 yards. It wasn't about that. It went right down to get down and dirty with a strong run game and a stingy defense. Is what our last 2 Super Bowl winners did. Well, this team has that recipe right now: strong defense and a offense that can get up and down the field on you no matter how they're doing it. Um, yeah, my ex Robbie's. Nah, shit.
Oh man.
But when we look at this Jaguar team, um, again, I'll go back to the storytelling. They're the narrative. They're the narrators. I mean, they control their story right now, right now. So I'll ask this last question before we leave the Jaguars. Um, can they write a hell of a story?
Cards is on the table. I mean, the cards is in their hands. I feel like they got the like I'm saying. We going through the team. We going through like the story. We going through the plot. Like they got the marks to make a hell of a story, and it really just is one game farther than you did last season. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's really just one game, one more
When you're a
game.
young team like that, is that what you tell your team? We wanna take it the next step. So we want to take the steps, or should this team, the way we looking at it, what we see, the talent is around this team, should they be thinking Super Bowl?
I think that's the only way you gonna get to Super Bowl is think Super Bowl.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
think
other
Super
way. I
Bowl.
mean, it can't. Nothing can be enough for you. Winning a divisional game, if you do get to a championship, just getting to the championship, that can't be enough. It got to be winning the championship, winning the Super Bowl, and if he gets that mindset and that confidence, I think that he can. You know what I'm saying? I think that coach sometimes is in his own head about certain opponents, but I feel like if he can get that confidence and bring that dog out of him, I think he can surprise people this year.
I mean, they got a double-digit sack guy, Justin Smith, who's been playing really well for this team. When you look at their guys that get to the interceptions, they got three of them that 8, 7, and 5. You have to call me back, little sis. We can talk about right now, baby girl. Tyson Campbell, Andre Cisco, and Sean Wade comes over with 5 INTs right now. So on the back end, we know what they can do at the linebacker level. We know they make plays at that linebacker level as well. Tackles, you got a whole bunch of guys with 40 tackles or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, 40 or more tackles right now. These guys play. The defense is there. I think the run game is there. How important when we talk about this team and they taking that next step and writing that story, they can't tell their story without without Trevor Lawrence stepping up. Would you agree or disagree with that?
I agree 100%.
Definitely agree.
I agree as well. Now let's get back. So we're talking about big time players that make big time plays at big time moments. When we talk about their big time player on offense, it's the running back. Um, he's in the running for the MVP, right? He's having one of the better seasons of a player can have. And again, we've seen these numbers. We've seen guys with 2,000 yards. We got guys that had 3,000 yards rushing in a year. But I just think the teams and the schedule they played this year, some of the big wins come with Travis, being who he is, right? But we're looking at big time players make big time plays, right? When you dig into him and you look at his season stats, he pins Jordan Air Jordan 13 retros. I found one pair of these again. Well, get them shits then. Um, let's look at Travis where he's been at from game one and the story that he's telling all the way up to where we at right now. Get them. Sorry, fellas. All right. Against the Broncos, 25 carries, 128 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ravens, 28 carries, 214, 7.6 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. Patriots, 32. Come on, Mom. I'm not answering the phone for you either. Right? You know what? I can't ignore Mom. She's part of the show all the time. What? She ain't gonna know what the hell she want. What's up, lady?
When you gonna get me my ink?
I was supposed to get it for you today. What now?
Yeah.
Oh shit. When you gonna stop calling me when I'm on my podcast show?
But till I get some attention to your people, let them know that you keep fucking me.
What? What'd you say?
I hope they can hear it through them headphones.
Yeah, they can hear you. We eating fried chicken and potatoes. You going? I'm bring you a plate.
Okay.
All right. Let me get back to the podcast.
What time you come?
Soon.
Okay.
All right. Love you.
Bye.
All
Love
right. All right, crazy ass Eladibo. All right, so 32 carries, 22 carries against the Colts. Then he had the Jets game, 19 carries, 292 yards, and a 5 touchdown performance right there. I would say that's the season. That's the game where, you got to be like, uh-oh, this guy doing some shit right now. Texans, 224 yards. 244 yards, 2 touchdowns. Against the Dolphins, even in his losses, Travis has been the one guy who stepped up. So when you tell his story, he's legit. He is a big time player, right? Y'all, we all agree that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely. Oh no.
Now, so with that, 30. I mean, damn, you go against the Bills. This guy at 36. Get 36 against it. Oh my God! What do you do?
When
Oh my God!
I remember some quotes he said where Ronald had these numbers. I ain't gonna bring them back out though.
Oh my God! We're gonna go back down. We're gonna go all the way back down here to game 2. Just show the 28 carries, the 214, the 7.6, and the 2 touchdowns. Just remember that. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so then you come out of that game, Bills, Titans, 25, 196, 7.8, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Giants, 11 carries, 148 yards, 13.5 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns. I mean, what happened in this game? I mean, this guy averaged a first down every time he touched the ball.
He had a big lead.
Was that what this was? Playing from behind? Because I mean, every game he had 20 or more carries. So 11 here. Was that it? Was playing from behind?
It was 14. Yeah, we tied up, and then I think I got 2 possessions up or something like that.
Lions 25 carries, 181, 4 touchdowns. And his last game, Texans 21 for 225, 10.7 yards a carry, and 3 touchdowns. If you look through, durability and being able to hold the football, we only see 1 fumble in all those games so far. He is that guy, right? We know he's a top 5 player in our league as far as at his position. But what type of story, just Max, me reading off these numbers by game, what type of stories is he telling right now?
Very much like bell cow, like he's wearing the the Jags uniform on his chest, honestly. Seems like he just has the will this season, not like he did in any other season, but like he's showing that he has the will and like displaying it. Like, I'm gonna make sure we get good. I'm gonna make sure my team needs to be where they at.
Is what he's done game in and game out? Is he showing that he's unstoppable?
I definitely would say the stats show it, like back him up on that. Yeah.
What about you, Craig? Is he unstoppable?
Yeah, I guess you can. I mean, I gotta say it. I mean, just slow him down maybe, but unstoppable, yeah. Can't stop him.
Can't stop Travis Etienne Jr., man. All right, so shout out to Travis. That's our little storyline there.
He'll never be number 1 though in running back.
You can't stop the rain.
You can't stop the rain. Yeah, you can't. That's about to be the new remix. You can't stop the butt ball. No. Where we at schedule-wise? The Real Talk show is going to talk about the things that we ain't covering today on these right now, but we got a lot of games played. We know the Steelers-Bengals game ain't getting played. Panthers-Falcons are scheduled.
Yeah, 6:30.
Seahawks-Rams scheduled.
6:30.
Packers-Cardinals scheduled.
6:37.
Raiders-Broncos already got the home. We got again Broncos. We need a Raiders coach bad. What about the Bears-49ers?
Not scheduled.
I kind of could have answered that without even asking you that question, right?
Yeah, I was like,
he's being
funny. He's being funny right now.
Just knowing who's involved, right? I could have answered that shit. So I'm gonna be funnier. Y'all ready to hear the biggest excuse ever? Watch how this goes.
Oh man.
What about Lions Cowboys?
No.
That's a good game right there. I want to see that.
What you one of them punk ass cops that drive money around? I see Lincoln Harris, you in the motherfucking one of those trucks. No doubt, no doubt. So why you think I'm calling you right now?
Man, I already set my time up, bro. 6:37, bro. See, you got look.
He ain't tag nobody. It don't count.
You tagged Nando and post that in the chat already?
Hell no. That's up to
Hell nah.
He told me the time. But anytime somebody tell me the time, they're supposed to post it to y'all.
Yeah, that's up to him now, huh? He told you the time, huh?
That's it. He told me 6:37. All I do is gotta show up. It's up to him to post the shit.
What's up with them Bears? They gonna
Bears going the fuck home.
That mean I'ma post it, alright?
is the Bears ready to get back into that Super Bowl conversation?
He took too long. Hell nah. He took too long. Hell nah.
I mean, you got guys on headset right now talking about hell nah, he ass, he ain't doing this and that. What do you got to say about those guys, man?
Tell him to get on the stick. That's all I gotta say.
Oh Lord.
You don't want to do that.
The Giants said you ain't had a close game with him in 3 seasons.
Man, tell the Giants. Only reason he won that game the other night because I was helping my little man with his homework.
Oh my God. I don't want to hear. Ask him about the Bucks. See what he got to say about the Bucks. All I do is check the ball down. DK had like 300 yards on this nigga. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wait, Ed, please.
Hold on, I can't hear you. What you say? Tell him what? That's how D West really played last 2 minutes of the game, huh?
Oh my gosh. Look at the game though.
How about somebody else doing the Bucks?
Ask about the Bucks. Oh my God.
What's up with the Bucks and shit? You had his number with season 1, and then after that, it's just been like, what do you do? Ah man, so what about these 49ers, man? You got the 49ers number right now, right? He hasn't beat you yet, right?
Hell no. 49ers,
Hey Craig.
Bears by 21 tonight. Book.
You said say that again?
Oh shit.
Bears by 21 tonight. Book.
Bears by 21 tonight?
Bears by 21.
Oh, you just gave us our line. That's going in the chat. We about to put up for that now.
Yeah, put up for that. Let's put up for that.
Bears by 21 over the Niners. Bears by 21. Okay. All right. We about to put you in a situation. If that comes true, I got you. We got to put you in a situation.
His stream too. Make sure he's streaming that shit non-dial-up.
Oh, he just typed in the comment section. Make sure he don't run the same cover 3 all game long.
Oh God.
Huh?
That's all you need to know.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Bears by 21 tonight. Book.
That's all. Book it. Try 21. Book it. All right, man. I'm about to get my bookie on and shit right now, man. What you? Oh, I see what you doing. You transporting fat bitches to prison. You in that box ass truck right now. I know you got a razor cutter and your shit. You about to put up to the crib? No doubt, no doubt. All right, my boy. I'll talk to you a little later. Yep. Bears by 21.
Wow.
Anything on this Lions Cowboys game?
Nothing.
Haven't heard nothing yet.
No.
Where's Drew at? I know he ain't let him say that.
Where the fuck has Snake
Cowboys
been?
set for 7 East. That's what he said. That's what Lions
Where has anybody seen Snake?
Ever since
7
he came out
East
the
Lions
race.
Cowboys.
He's nowhere to be found.
Ever
I
since that
mean,
Craig donut.
I heard that
Holy
motherfucking holy
moly!
moly. We ain't heard from him since.
Holy moly!
I think.
We had to bring my man back down to earth real quick. That's it. It's my guy though.
Holy moly donut shop. Holy moly donut shop.
So we have a couple games at 7 Eastern and a couple games at 6:30. Yeah. So.
Man, no, I appreciate you, man. You got that shit in order right now, so that's what we doing right now. I like it. Everybody got shit to do. Every game got to get knocked out right now, man. Craig.
Yo.
The New York Giants traded Stephon Gilmore to the Baltimore Ravens. Talk about it. How you feel about that trade?
I'm cool with it because it's an NFC, but that's just some dumb shit right there, boy. In my opinion, you can't trade away that veteran presence. Even how you're seeing him as a 1 year rental, man, you have that guy. You just can't give him up. Especially with being in the NFC, knowing that you most likely won't have to be folk to get to the Super Bowl. I think that's big right there, man. If you're trying to play for this year, if you're building for future and building for
Let me touch your butt.
next year, then okay, I can see it. But
damn. Here, Gladys. Oh my God. So anyway, my bad. I heard you, Craig. I'm horny as shit right now. Oh my God. So we heard the Giants and the Eagles went into overtime right now. Craig, did you watch this ball game?
yeah, I did actually. It was a good game.
You're my go-to guy right now. So let's talk for a second, Craig. The Eagles. Let's conversate about the Philadelphia Eagles for a little bit right now. I will say it's going to be a true or false question when I start talking about some teams right now. True or false? The Eagles have a short window to figure it out.
True. Where his expectations true.
All right. After watching
make the playoffs this year.
All right. True or false? Eagles make the playoffs this year.
It's my cousin. I gotta say true. I'm a little biased though.
All right. After watching the Eagles Giants game, what's your assessment before we get into it?
I mean, that game shows how good the Eagles really can be if they can be locked in. Because, I mean, at one point, they was up 17-0. They had
16-0.
They was up 16-0. And, you know, they had the Giants in the, like, with their backs against the wall. But even with that, see, the thing is, I don't think nobody really fears them because I could tell that it didn't waver the Giants.
And that's the thing, being down. When you got, not to cut you off, but when you're a team like that, and you got a team down like the Giants right there, it gotta be pressure. And I'll ask you this, Max. You played the game. Did you feel any pressure being down 16-0?
No, not even not because Rob didn't have me back against the wall like Craig said. He very much did. It's just we have kind of been there before in a situation. I knew that we weren't playing to the best of our abilities in a sense, so I was able to just focus in.
All right. What does it take for the Eagles to take that next step? It seemed like they kind of capped off themselves as well. I don't think they have an offensive problem. Me personally, I think their problem is defensively.
And the thing that the Eagles got to do in all aspects of the game is finish. Because even in their 16, they scored. They got 16 because they got a touchdown and then fucking 4 field goals.
Oh wow!
All them times you could have went down there and put touchdowns down instead of field goals.
Finish
all them field goals.
Finish
drives.
It's been a theme.
You make a big drive before the halftime and still go up by 16 at halftime. And then somehow Max comes screaming back down 16 at halftime and ends up winning the game.
But is the comeback sweaty palms where that's too much pressure for him? That's some coaches.
I don't think it's sweaty palms. I think it's just having the adjustment to the adjustment. If you play a coach like Max, by the second half, he's gonna know what you're doing. So at that point, you have to be able to go to the next layer of the game. So I just think that once he start figuring out what Rob was doing on defense, because Rob was putting some stops together on Max. once he figured things out, he didn't know how to adjust to Max's adjustment. And
Right.
I don't really think he was as far as nervous, but I just think he just got to go to that next part of his game.
No, I feel you. I agree, 100%. Um, they fought through a schedule, a vigorous schedule right now, man. They had the Ravens, the Bucks, and the Giants back to back to back. I mean, that's huge right now, man. 485 offensive yards for the New York Giants, 519. I mean, they was getting it done. They beat them in total yards. They beat them in rushing yards. They didn't win the passing game, but 383 to 338. I mean, let's think about that. First downs, they won that 17-15. When it comes down to total yards gained, 560 to 500. The turnover department, both of them turned the ball over twice. When it comes down to fourth downs, third down conversions, the Eagles had 5 of them. The Giants have 4. Neither one of them went for it on fourth down. Two-point conversions, the Giants did go for it. 80 offensive percent, 80% in the red zone to 100. 4 red zone touchdowns, 2 red zone touchdowns, and I guess that's where the field goals popped off at, right? You said they kicked a lot of field goals in that game. I mean, they had the ball for 22 minutes and 11 seconds to 13:46. Dominated the time of possession right now. Let's go look and see what they did. Stat-wise, 123 QB rating, 352 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Bro, that's that number line, 123, 352, 2 and 1, only 2 sacks. That's usually signs of a victory.
Exactly.
Elijah Manning had 120.4. He had 405 yards in this game, threw 3 touchdowns, he threw 2 picks. He was sacked twice as well. Now, what happened in this run game over here? We see JT with 15 carries for 130. He averaged 8.7 and a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, 15 carries, 62, 4.1 and 2 touchdowns. And that's really big for the Philadelphia Eagles. To really be able to hold that run game to under 5 yards, 4.1 a carry right now. Elijah Manning did take off 2 times. He had 19.5 yards a carry. Watson also scored 5.4 yards and a touchdown. So he was hitting at the run game, and it looked like the passing game was on fire for these Eagles. D-Hop, 3 catches, 154. Bunch of woo babies, 51.3 yards. The old man still can get behind defenses. DK Metcalf had 4 catches but didn't see the end zone. John Ross did see the end zone. 3 catches, 124, 41.3. Bunch of woo babies, 2 touchdowns. He did it twice. Woo babies! Am I lying? Is that what happened? A couple woo babies bust off right now. Shockey had 5 catches, 81 yards and a touchdown. And then Devontae, Mr. Heisman Smith, 79 yards and a touchdown in this game right now. When we talk about defense right now, you go Von Teller had 9 tackles, a tackle for loss, and the INT. Has he been quiet this year? We haven't really been hearing about Von Teller at all this year. Jimmy Adams also played well for him. That's 2 Adams are playing in this game, the younger brother of the Adams that played for the Eagles. 7 tackles in this game. Lowry, the corner, has 7. So let's go look at sack lines right now. Both quarterbacks got sacked twice. Von Teller had a sack. Young rookie Carl McLean had a sack as well. Brandon Clinton, the second-year player over here for the Eagles, had a sack, and Lamont Vaughn, the linebacker, had a sack in this game. As far as picking the ball off, the Eagles did it more than the Giants. Lowry had a pick. Seth Cannon showed up, and Savage showed up. When you look at this game, this is an overtime game. Look at the box score. They won the overtime. What happened late? I mean, the Giants scored 15. So look, the Giants scored 30 to 14 in the second half. What was the turnaround, Craig? Nano, you watched the game? You there?
I watched the 4th quarter.
You saw a 30 to 14 turnaround and from third quarter to the overtime. So really what happened was the Giants scored 36 points in the third, fourth periods, and then the overtime period to the Eagles 14. What was the turnaround?
Rob had Max got a sack fumble to the crib on Watson.
Game changer, momentum situations. Popped off right now. I mean, they scored 23 in the first half, 14 in the third quarter, and then they didn't, score a point after that. Obviously, did the Giants have ball first or something? Because they scored 6. Looked like they went right down to score it, or either got a stop and went down to score, one or the other. But that's the game.
They got the ball.
They got the ball. All right. So that is the ball game right now, man. Again, so Craig, I ask you again. What about the Gilly Lock trade? Do you feel like that played a role in that game being a shootout like that?
Yeah, I think I even had a conversation with the coach. Like his defense is, it's like sometimes you can look at a player's overall, but not just forgetting about what he means to the whole defense. And I think that was one of the glues to the whole defense. And I think they got to reassemble now after Gilly left. So I think they're gonna go through some things. And I don't like going through growing pains in week 13 of a season. This is when you should be gelled together.
Right, right.
I mean, that's me personally. And then to see the effect that it had on the Ravens defense, it's crazy.
We shoot out there to dirty ass Ohio and Cleveland, and the Baltimore Ravens traveled into Cleveland, and they took on the Cleveland Browns. Both these teams had the same record. The winner of this team will take over the division and have a 2-game lead, because they, you know, if the Ravens won, they would have a 2-game lead by beating them 2 times. 3-point game in week 1. This game wasn't the same right now. Let's talk about it. 373 offensive yards gained, 325. Rushing yards, 288 to 143. Passing, literally 85 passing yards to 182. Now, the storyline, 4 for 8, 50% through 2 touchdown passes, but the game was defensively. The Ravens want to feel a lot in this game on defense. I want to go down here to the storyline of 17-26, 14-33. That's not that bad. He is out front. It's not that bad at all as far as, you know, time of possession. But honestly, Nana, you watched the game. We were on defense a lot, and then a lot of our scores were quick scores, so we were really on defense a lot. What side I parked that fucking car on? Shit. Oh, the right side, last spot. Like walking towards the dog park. That's the last spot. Alright, so I'm going to just go out of the storyline we're going to see here. Let's go one right here. We're going to go where the turnovers at. 7-2. Anytime you turn the ball over 7 times, that's the recipe. Okay. Pay attention to what you're telling me. Alright. 7 turnovers. So now, 95.3 quarterback, Stanton threw the ball a whole lot. He had a 27.3 QB rating. I'm going to just say this. Putting a veteran presence like a Stephon Gilmore on our roster. Nano, you watched the game, bro. He didn't affect the game with plays being made. He affected the game with his presence. Take us through the game a little bit, Nano. What was the difference in Baltimore's defense that we haven't seen all year, what we got to see last night when you watched that game?
That defense was flying around because of Gilmore's presence in the locker room. They were making plays that I haven't really seen this season at all. You saw Israel make a couple plays, Martin Johnson make a couple plays, and they were just flying around, sacking the quarterback too.
I mean, a lot of it was preparation. You know, the Cleveland Browns showed their hand in that game, and they wanted check downs, crossing routes, and a lot of their shit was crossing routes. And we did put them in situations where they would throw, you know, 1-on-1, 50-50, throw it up type shit. And Martin made the plays this time around. I just say we had Gilmore on the field. And I just think having that threshold of the guy with that veteran presence like that changed the game for us. I'm certain you didn't get gas, right? Nope, damn sure didn't. Oh, hold on. This show over. I'll come back. I gotta take her. She gonna fuck around.